see.
And in the Vanguard newspaper, terrorism, court sentences Ansaru commander Usman to 15 years in prison. ADC leadership, battle to remove Mark. Aregbesola continues Monday.
Finally, in the This Day newspaper, we have.
Yeah, I did not.
You did not.
I did not hear you, but it's okay. It must be the network.
Right. Must be. So saying that those are the headlines today in the national dailies that have been making the rounds for today. So you want to do well to get you a copy or read online, like I would typically say. But we are going to slide right into the headlines, the proper hot topics for this morning. And joining us is our in-house analyst, Emmanuel Olonade. Tom, I see you dancing.
Hello, Emmanuel.
Hello, Tom. Good morning, and good morning for me. Good to be here once again. And well, I just guess I have to do this with you, wonderful ladies, every Friday. Thank God it's Friday. And I don't think I've heard your plans for this Friday, because there's always plan for Friday.
So for me, I'm presenting from Abeokuta, and I thought I was going to have a restful Friday, but I have to go to Lagos this morning. I have to be in Lagos with a colleague of mine for 11 a.m. So I'm not sure if I'm going to come back to Abeokuta, but definitely my Saturday is a stay-at-home Saturday. Watch films, eat, go for strolls, no party. And then Sunday is going to be same. I may go to church on Sunday. It's going to, I may. For me, mommy, for me.
Mommy, for me. I'm trying to think of what I'm doing this weekend. To be honest, I haven't made plans. I really want to sleep tomorrow. I really do. So I'm hoping that I can. But then school resumes on Monday, which means I have to now prep. So, and I thought I was going to get ahead of getting, back to school items. I haven't. So, which means my Saturday, my plan to sleep, maybe I will sleep first, then go out later. I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet.
What Emmanuel, you call?
I have to be somewhere tomorrow to actually cover an event, and that is how my weekend starts. So Saturday morning, I have to be at an event tomorrow again, and we move, and probably Sunday church and rest. So we jail for the new week.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, let's get into the first headline for today. I actually saw this yesterday in another paper, but then I saw that it was recurring in this paper today. This is the Premium Times. In Akwa Ibom, pregnant women, babies die due to poorly equipped PHCs, that's primary healthcare centers, while government wastes billions. Akwa Ibom has one of the lowest percentages, 38.6% of live births delivered in a health facility in the country. It ranks lowest among the 17 southern states in Nigeria. We have different stories here. Queen Purple, age 25, keenly looked forward to the arrival of her first child. Pregnancy had caused her nausea and fatigue, and she struggled with the increasing weight of her growing baby. She attended the primary healthcare center in her community of Emere Oke Kingdom in the Eastern Obolo local government of Akwa Ibom State for antenatal care. However, as her due dates drew closer, she was advised to deliver with a traditional birth attendant in a neighboring village, a path many women in the community take. The PHC rarely opens at night, so our community's women advised me against taking chances in case the baby comes at night. 5 months into her pregnancy, she witnessed that her neighbor had lost her baby at childbirth because there was no health worker to attend to her because at the PHC, because she went to labor at night, there wasn't light. The woman returned home to give birth, had serious bleeding, and then, of course, the local remedies couldn't stop it. And because of what she witnessed and the advice she was given, weeks before her due date, she moved to stay with a traditional birthing attendant in the nearby village. However, after several hours of labor, this year, 2024, the baby came out lifeless. we have different examples as well, and the recurring theme is that PHC that's the primary health care center did not open that night. They had to deliver their baby at home. Some others will say there was no light, and the story keeps on going on and on and on. According to the village head, the chief staff to the village head, Ruben Jonah, he says that the kingdom loses women and babies during childbirth due to the inadequacies of the primary healthcare center. No staff, no equipment for emergencies and deliveries. This reporter visited their facility in late May. It had no fence, it had no staff quarters, and even if it had health workers, they still wouldn't feel safe to work at night, especially for emergency services. The center only has one full-time employee, Ruth Awijogak, a community health environmental worker who is also the officer in charge. I mean, just looking at this report, if you keep on reading it, you will just be saddened by this state, because how is this even possible? That women are losing their lives because even though there's a primary healthcare center, few workers have been posted to the facility. There's no lights. There's no staff on duty for, overnight duties, for even emergency services. The Akwa Ibom State inaugurated this new model PHC in February, but 4 months later, the facility has remained locked as no healthcare worker has been posted there. I mean, this is just a really, really sad situation. And at Women Radio, this is something that we stand for. We want the best for our women. Like, we just want to make sure that our women are getting the best care all around, whether at childbirth, whether health, whether in positions of power. But this is such a sad case, wouldn't you say, Emmanuel?
The anguish of Queen Popu, Mercy, and I think Blessing is just like a reflection of our society, where there is an indictment on the government. Permit me to say before I proceed that you said these communities do have primary health care centers. No, they only have dilapidated buildings. They don't have primary health care centers because you can't just put a building together and call it health care. See, the building that housed Women Radio, for example, if government bring doctors and nurses there and equipment, it can become a health center. But because we have media equipment there, that is what makes it a radio station. So basically, you can't say government has given them a building, some dilapidated, and they've put a signpost there saying healthcare center, that's an healthcare center. No. So what we're seeing is the fact that government has abandoned its core responsibility and they found a way to leave people in danger, saying that at this point, they are not fulfilling their core mandate, which is stated for them, security and welfare. Health is part of welfare. And they've abandoned that, chasing frivolities. See, one thing that strikes me is the disconnect we have between those in power and what people need. There's something we call needs assessment. And I think the people in project that do project management will understand what that means. Before you execute anything, you need to find out what they need. People that need schools, you don't give them roads. People that need roads, you don't give them flyover. People that need flyover, you don't give them airports. But what we have in Nigeria is the fact that a governor or people in power are looking for landmark projects and are building and are trying to create rivers in the desert when people don't even need the river there. So the irony of what we've seen is the fact that it's not only in Akwa Ibom State, it reflects in Nigeria all through. Currently, Akwa Ibom State has about 38.6%, which is like the lowest in southern part of Nigeria. But when you look at the mortality rates in the state, it is extremely high. 774% per 100,000 live births always have this issue. So the question we need to ask is, how did Akwa Ibom get into this? This is an oil-producing state that ought not to be struggling with providing health care for its citizens. And don't also forget that there is a standard set by National Primary Healthcare Development Agency. There is a standard. It's as if like I think you must have 24 minimum healthcare worker in a primary healthcare center. Now, why the primary healthcare center is very important is that it is the first point of call for people in local areas to get access to basic healthcare. Now, the job of primary healthcare is very simple. They are not built to carry out advanced surgeries and all, but all these child delivery, basic healthcare, they are to provide that. That is why for primary healthcare, they ought to have midwives in place, they ought to have nurses in place, and then they ought to have a certified medical doctor in place. But what you see now is you can't even find the nurses, you can't even find the midwives. And I started by saying that because the government has given them a building and put a signpost there, we cannot call it primary health care. Because when these people are not there, it doesn't function as primary health care. When the equipment is not there, it doesn't function as primary health care. So what we're saying is just buildings that some government officials have commissioned without looking at how to maintain this building. So number one problem they are having in the health sector, and which we've continually spoken to, not only in Akwa Ibom, generally, is the fact that most of our health workers are migrating and we are failing to replace them. So there's this gap in place and those available are being overstressed. Don't forget that there is a doctor, I think on his housemanship in River State about 2 weeks ago, who slumped and died. Because when you look at the roster, I saw the roster and I'm like, how is he surviving? His name was just there, shift. I'm like, how do you even want him to be in the right frame of mind? His body is not resting, his mind is not resting to even treat people. So see, there is an emergency that ought to be declared in our health sector, but we are ignoring it based on the fact that it doesn't affect me. We have access to private medical care. But how about those who live in those remote areas who has no access to this primary health care, to this private medical health care? See, private medical health care is very, very expensive. And don't forget, the same doctors that you find in these government ultra-modern hospitals are the same doctors that you find there. Now, I once read a story on Twitter. The guy said he went to a big private hospital for medical checkup. And then they told him he has an ailment. And then he was like, I don't have this. Let me go to another hospital. And he said he went to the hospital, another big one. And for weeks, they were checking him. And then the doctor said, I'm going to refer you to a consultant. And guess the consultant he said, our consultant will come in and then you will meet the consultant. The same consultant he met at the other big private hospital was the same consultant that was coming in. That is the situation of the healthcare system in Nigeria. But we are not speaking about it because, see, health is wealth. And then I always say it's good health we so much underrate good health in this part of the world. And I always pray, just don't fall sick and be at the mercy of the hospital. So it's sad that we are seeing this happening in Akwa Ibom. But is it only in Akwa Ibom that we have this? I would say no. It is not only in Akwa Ibom that we have this. There is a whole lot going on in different parts of the country that we are not speaking to. Our primary healthcare centers are in a state of despair right now. Like it is as if it doesn't exist. But we are not speaking to this based on the fact that we all focus on the bigger picture, the general hospital, but there should be provision of basic medical health services to those in the rural areas. Now, don't forget, there's another thing the government does. What they do is they commission a building, do the funfair, call band. I don't even know where we got the idea of calling bands to play at the commissioning of a project. Permit me to say I'm not a fan of commissioning projects because the said individual have not used their own personal money to build that. They have used taxes collected from the states to actually build that. Yes, they tell us to tell them thank you. For what? And then they commission this building and then the building is under lock and key. And then they tell you we've commissioned an health facility, but there are no staff to be posted there. And then when you ask them, they will tell you they're having financial constraints to do this, but they are not having financial constraints to buy SUVs. They are not having financial constraints to travel outside the country, where they bring zero foreign direct investment into their states. They are not under financial constraints to fly to Abuja every time just to wave bye-bye and welcome sir to the president. But they are under financial constraints when it comes to the people. And the mentality I keep saying is the fact that they know that if the people live in plenty and they have access, they will demand for more. So they give them lack, so that when you give them a drop of water, they kneel at your feet and then they tell you thank you and see you like gods. So what we are witnessing it's Akwa Ibom State today that Premium Times has done this investigative report on. It can be your state tomorrow. It can be my state tomorrow. But when this report is out, I always say we need to be objective with it, because the report comes with data, comes with eyewitness accounts, comes with what they see on ground. But when you ask various commissioners for health, they will tell you, no, we have staffs. Tell them to bring out the list of medical doctors that serve in those states. Another thing is they build primary health care centers in remote villages, and then they bring one doctor who has done all his life in Abuja and Lagos, and they are telling him they are posting him to that village to live his life. No, he's going to experience cultural shock. That's not what he signed up for when he became a medical doctor and registered with the state. And then some of them that even agreed to go there, you see that there's no accommodation, no facility. You can't expect him to crisscross from the state capital or the urban centers every day to those centers. And because of insecurity, again, most of these primary healthcare centers don't operate 24 hours. You see them shutting down 5 p.m. You see them shutting down 3 p.m. because these few health workers that has made themselves useful and available wants to go back to their home. Because if anything happens to them, it's only their family that will be their family are the ones responsible for them. So they have to protect themselves and go back home. So you look at the situation that there has not been a system in place to encourage this. And that also boils down to the fact that the primary healthcare center ought to be the primary responsibility of the local government. But we don't have local governments. In few states where local government has been able to thrive, you see them having some primary health cares where they have local government chairman that has the fear of God. I'm not saying local government chairman. You see them having primary health care centers that looks like some state general hospital. That is the situation. So the government needs to invest in this. And this is why when people tell me that associations are going on strike, I tell them they are fighting for your own general good. The other day, the Nurses and Midwives Association went on strike, and they said they are urging the government to recruit more nurses into the system, that they are short-staffed. But people were still blaming them that why will you go on strike? Because strike is one of the things you get government attention. But it's an irony that the mortality rate in Akwa Ibom is so high. And then I think I was reading the response of the commissioner saying they are constrained by funds to meet the minimum staffing standard. And in my mind, I'm like, what is you being constrained by fund? For instance, the 2024 full-year budget performance report of Akwa Ibom State shows that the State Primary Healthcare Development Agency spent about 37.1 million on personnel costs. That is on the 2,164 staff in the health facility and the agency. 37.1 million. That is where we've seen videos of some past state governors taking drinks that are more than that early in the morning, and then this is what they spend. So when you look at it, I'm just trying to put in context to know that when they speak about this financial constraints, it is not usually the true story every time, because they wake up and then they tell us that they are speaking about financial constraints. And don't also forget that this state government bought 13 SUV. 13 SUV in May 2005. Gave 13 SUVs. We know how much SUV costs. So according to the state budget, not me, each SUV costs about 100 million naira. And overhead cost for 2,184 people is about 37.1 million. But one SUV Cost how much? 100 million. They bought 13, 1.3 million. Just imagine they have gotten, what was it called? They have gotten a normal SUV, because we have normal SUV. Is there normal SUV? Okay, they've gotten SUV. Don't let me say normal SUV. And then, and then they just giving it to lawmakers. But 1.3 billion for at a personnel cost of about 222.6 million for 12,894 staff in Akwa Ibom. If they are trying to increase the number of staff, so that is what you are going to have. If you are even trying to increase the number of staff, you are going to have about 222 million naira. But 1.3. So this is why I said that the government is in disconnect with the people, and the people they are in disconnect with that suffers the most are the ones that defend the government. So that is the irony of slave and the master. The slave will always fight for the master because it feels like I am actually a part of the master, whether by ethnic or religious affiliation. And that is what is killing us in Nigeria. It's so sad that in this time where we are chasing sustainable development goal, we are still speaking about access to basic healthcare. And what baffles me is that the fact that Nigeria is a signatory to these 17 sustainable development goals and the 163 action points from it. But when you look at all the lists, what have we been able to achieve on this list? I will tell you nothing. We keep where countries are advancing and all. So that is why you see, even when those in power, what they love doing most is medical tourism. I wasn't born, but those that were born then will tell you that earlier in Nigeria, we have crown prince from Saudi Arabia and co coming to UCH Ibadan for medical checkups. But basically now, who comes to us? We go to them. We run to India. We run to the UK. We run to the US. We run to Germany. We run everywhere, but we run away from our own country. This is why I keep praying for Nigerians. Just pray for good health, because don't let Nigeria happen to you. You are just one step away from the generator at the hospital not coming on, and then requiring torchlight for surgery. You are just one step away from them not having bed to admit the person. So just pray for good health. I think that's one prayer, Nigerians, and they should live also for good health, not a careless lifestyle. So this is just the irony of what we have as a nation. We are talking about Akwa Ibom State today. When we estray other states, what will happen? Primary health care ought to be the responsibility of the local government, but we don't have local government in Nigeria. Despite the Supreme Court's ruling, giving autonomy to them, we don't have. State governors like local government funds a lot, that they've held local government hostage. And those that conduct election, they conduct election based on you just go and sit in that office. When the allocation comes, send it to the state covers. We give you your own change. Go and do whatever you like. So there's even nothing that the local government can do for the people. And then this is why our primary health care facilities are the way they are. Lack of staffing, lack of care by those in power for it. See, if they say there's no funding, but they want to travel or they want to have statewide banquet parties, there will be fund. If they say they want to
let me just step in a bit here, Emmanuel. It's minute 8. I hear you loud and clear, and look, and just to support what you're saying, the data is a very sad one. 1 in 22 Nigerian women die during pregnancy and childbirth. 1 in 22. And so we actually rank second worst in the world, according to World Health Organizations. You touched on our leaders. They go abroad for health and medical care services. And in these hospitals where they go abroad, can you hear me, please?
I can hear you.
In these hospitals where they go abroad, the doctors, the best of the doctors and consultants there in those hospitals are Africans and Nigerians. The math does not add up for me. Now, for me, this is another form of corruption, because if our leaders are in abroad for treatment, if the hospitals and the primary healthcare centers, that is expected to be in every of the 774 local governments are not equipped, We are mortgaging the lives of women. So what do we need to do? That's my question. The media, especially, and Nigerians, what do we need to do? We need to continue to hold our leaders responsible, because I'm sure budget would have been earmarked and released to equip these primary healthcare centers. I recall so what do we need to do as media, as journalists, as broadcasters, and as Nigerians to keep putting pressure on our leaders to ensure that they do the right thing for Nigerians? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom. You've said it. The media is regarded as the fourth estate of the realm. And when you are part of the realm, you are the conscience of the nation. And what Premium Times has done, I think a lot of media should also do it. What we don't have nowadays is investigative reporting that exposes the government. Brown envelope has gone a long way to actually put a dent on media, but we still have to thank those who are going out there risking their lives to ensure that we have this accurate report, this data, and call government to account. Let me tell you what will happen now. In the next 2 or 3 weeks, you will see those facilities being opened up. You will see state officials visiting those facilities with camera and telling you that, oh, we're on top of it. So what needs to happen now is there has to be a sustainable effort by the media to estray all these things and show development in this aspect. And I think by then, government officials will sit up, because once they see that something bad is being spotlight, their PR team also will tell them, you have to go and visit them. No, you will see that in a few days and you read about that. The Akwa Ibom state government, they are doing this, they are trying to recruit, you might say they're trying to recruit 1,000 medical health practitioners now. So it's just the work of the media to ensure that they are the conscience, they are the voice of the people. They take what the people feels to the government, and they also help interpret, because that's where the media finds it hard, balance, interpret government policies to the people and ensure that there is a balanced reportage on everything they do. But now, don't worry, Premium Times has done this. You will see Akwa Ibom State government with camera and ops very soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's 2 minutes after 8. This is the full breakfast and the newspaper review on Your Women Radio. We're happy to take your calls, and we're happy for you to send messages to us. Emmanuel, I have 2 messages there that I'm going to take. Both are speaking more or less about the same thing, but going opposite sides. The first one is from Prince. Prince says, good morning, my friends. Good morning to you too, Prince. He said, on OB meeting with GEJ, that's OB meeting with Jonathan, our former president, what is coming in 2027 will set Nigeria either in separate ways or make it a better marriage. Some of us from the north are ready to give our best to the best among them all. Obi stands out. His kind is not in the open market of Nigerian politics. That is from Prince. Now, this other one is from Additional Wasiu in Ikorodu. He says, good morning to you all in the studio. Good morning to you too, Additional, and I hope Ikorodu is fine. He said, on ADC coalition, it's dead on arrival because check their pedigree. Almost all of them have been in one position before. What is their achievement? First, Aregbesola is immediate past Minister of Interior, and there is scarcity of international passport, and he cannot resolve it. And for Atiku Abubakar, whose former boss wrote a book titled Under My Watch and said is most corrupt. Or is it El Rufai, who, as governor of Kaduna State, there were massive killings in the state, and someone is telling me ADC are going to rescue Nigeria with this caliber of people who almost all of them are corrupt? If Nigeria are passing these people now, that means Nigeria have no shame. Don't look at president, ask the governor and local government chairman, the billions of money they are collecting. So that is Additional Wasiu from Ikorodu and Prince on 2 opposite comments on coalition. Emmanuel, what are your thoughts to this?
Well, basically, they are entitled to their opinion. Is Obi the best of them? Well, that is an individual opinion, and the opinion can only be made better if Nigeria thinks so at the pool, if Obi decides to contest. But one thing that strikes an average Nigerian with the fact that Obi has refused to leave the scene after losing the 2023 general election, which we don't find in an average Nigerian politician. Don't forget, Nigeria politician life cycle is, I lose an election, I go, 1 year to the election, I come back. But the fact that Obi has remained a thorn in the flesh of the ruling party, refusing to leave, and calling them out at every point. I think that is the new height we found our politics in Nigeria, and I think which is good, which everyone needs to learn from. And that is why the likes of Atiku are also trying to like be there, not taking their usual vacation and coming back after election, every election cycle. So this is why people are saying like Obi is different, Obi is different. But if I say Obi is different and I give him my vote, will other Nigerians give him their vote? So Prince needs to preach his gospel if he believes it's different. For Wasiu, saying that, what was it called? Those in ADC are not different. Yes, those in ADC are also past leaders. Those in APC are also past leaders. But the truth is, politics in Nigeria is not based on ideology. This is why politicians can crisscross from one political party to another without any repercussion, because they stand for no basic ideology than to get power. So it's now for Nigerians to decide, not me deciding for Nigerians. When the time comes, mine is just to place before them the truth, which will be life and death. As the Bible says, I place before the life and death. I'm going to place before them data, which they would pick and run with and choose. So it's not in my place to tell them that ADC are a bunch of recycled politicians who have nothing to offer. Everyone has something to offer. And don't forget, people change. But I don't think Nigerian politicians change. Paul changed from being a persecutor to being an apostle, and one of the best at that. So who says that the likes of El-Rufai cannot become born again? Only time will tell, and only Nigerians will tell. But for me, I don't rule people out. People change. And, well, if the change is right, it's good. Some people we thought were saints before, when we gave them power, they became the exact, they showed their true color. Some people we thought were bad, they got power, they became good. So it's life. We just need to be careful. And I will always urge Nigerians, read their manifesto. Political campaign is not a place of dancing, saying, let me dance.
But Emmanuel, their manifestos sometimes, if they even look alike, they seem the same. And we've seen instances where, they don't even implement what is in their manifesto. They write out these lofty, beautiful manifestos just to attract, to campaign. But they get into power and they seem not to even have a clue of how they're going to implement their manifesto, their manifesto. Anyway.
So you might be onto something. So you might actually be onto something with that. Maybe we need to change it to a manifesto.
Yeah, maybe that will work for us. See, when you're outside the office, you see a lot of things wrong in the office. But when you get to the office and you see the problem, you are overwhelmed. You are like, I didn't know. Yeah. I didn't know this is it. Yeah. Then you start thinking. Yeah. And then another problem is the fact that if you don't surround yourself with good people, that's why you don't put, so in some positions, you don't put politicians there, you put technocrats there. People who understand how it works. People who will make a decision based on the fact that they are running a business and ensure that it works for the people. So that is the problem. Government is a whole lot of things. And when people get in there, just pray for them sometimes that where you are getting to is actually very, very hard. But you need will, and then you need the right attitude to ensure that you are a very big part of it. So it's going to be a whole lot, but we'll keep preaching the gospel to them and ensure that Nigerians choose right when the time has come. You said they don't follow manifesto. Let me give it to you. Someone said, widen the tax net. Has the person not followed the manifesto? The answer is for Nigerians to talk about.
Hello?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Good morning.
I can hear. Okay. 9 minutes.
There's a call.
Okay, yes. Good morning. How are you? Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good. I'm Mrs. Oboli. Good morning, Madam Shania. Good morning, Mr. Emmanuel.
Hello, Mrs. Oboli.
Good morning, Mrs. Oboli.
I'm fine. First off, I want to say thank you for the analysis this morning. But Mr. Emmanuel, I'm sure you'd agree with me that the desperation of Nigerians presently, manifesto or no manifesto, we just want to get out of the economy brouhaha we have found ourselves. The average Nigerian take-home pay can't take him home. The economy is downtown, everything. And so they don't even want to look at anybody now. Integrity, character is what we are all looking for. And so you'd agree that the desperation and the call for all these anomalies to be fixed is what is driving the average Nigerian presently. But our prayer is that in all of this, we don't enter from fry pan into fire. But anything that would oust the APC is what Nigerians are really clamoring for. So how do we juxtapose that with our reality? With all those people that ADC is fielding, with all those people that APC has been shoving down our throats, they are telling you their ticket is open to anybody, when we know that it is the incumbents they want at the end of the day. So how do you balance? So because there will be serious voter apathy, the media will have a whole lot of time convincing Nigerians to go and get their PVCs and vote, because everybody is just trained out that even if we vote, it won't count. So how do you balance the Nigerian reality that in spite of what you want, a good life, a minimum wage that can cater to your needs, a vibrant economy, feed your children, everybody, Igbo, Hausa is and the Yoruba man is speaking the same language, they being power. How do you tell the average Nigerian that don't be beclouded by your sense of judgment? Think, give logical reasoning, introspective reasoning before you go and cast your vote. How do you cajole us? How do you tell us that 2027 will come with its niceties, but look before you leap? How do you tell the average Nigerian that tomorrow will be better amidst all these wishy-washy politicians we have, or politics, as you may call them? Thank you very much, Madam Shonaya. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. I'm listening. God bless you.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Well, Mrs. Oboli, that's a lot of questions, but I will try to answer and make it very simple. How do we convince Nigerians to vote? Number one, when an average Nigerian politicians want voters apathy so that election is very easy for them to rig. It is going to be very hard for you to rig an election when 10 million Nigerians don't vote in your favor. It's going to be very hard. When 20 million Nigerians don't vote in your favor. Don't forget about 84 million registered voters the last time out. We saw the numbers we had, the lowest in history of our democratic process. So I think there's another call.
Hello.
Yes, let's just take this other call. Hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Evangelist Gibson calling from South Carolina. Yes,
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your analysis and fact all he has taken. I really quite believe in him and all he has said. What we really, I said it before, say the truth in it. PDP, the opportunity they had in 2023, they cannot have it again. I'm not sure they have it. We need strong opposition. We need governance. We need people that you put the government to the right thing, not power grabbers. This will have been decision, but we don't think before we elect them. So at least check what this will have been. Good luck that have done his own. What has he done? Something that is coming up. What did he really do in this? How do they trying to tell us that they are now the Messiah? Nigeria should look inward. They should be wise so that nobody deceives us again. And once again, let all of us, Nigeria, we have all it takes to be great. Anywhere we are, let us always do the right thing in the fear of God so that we can move this nation forward. Forgetting the tribe they are coming for our religion. Join us to make this nation great. I believe Nigeria will be great again. Let us all do the right thing in the fear of God. God bless you. God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
So we will hold on calls now and allow you, Emmanuel, to just quickly respond to those in 2 minutes. Thank you.
Basically, for Madam Oboli, I would say that voter apathy is one way Nigerian politicians strive, because they know that the lower the number of voters, the easier it is for them to rig elections. So this is why they don't encourage people to vote. This is why they disrupt elections, not allowing people to vote. So if Nigerians don't come out to vote, I will tell you that you will still have the same results you've always have in time past. See, electoral revolution comes when the people troop out in number to cast their votes and defend their votes. So if a candidate is leading someone by 20 million, 50 million, it's not going to be easy to rig. But when you have all this 1,500,000 gap between them, it is very easy for them to rig. A politician strive and do well rigging an election based on the fact that the number is very low. Now, how do we choose? How do we, I think that's a part of our question, how do we choose? How are we sure that these people will do what they need to do? That manifesto is not it. See, manifesto still holds a bit of truth. Tom said most of them write the same thing in their manifesto, but they don't use the same execution method in their manifesto. If I'm telling you I'm going to provide infrastructure for you, and I'm telling you what I'm going to do for you is build a bridge where there's no river, another person is telling you that I'm going to provide a means for you to cross the river. Both are saying they will take you to your destination, but you have to follow the one that is more realistic. Nigerian politicians are ones that will tell you they can make heaven earth and earth heaven. By the end of the day, they make both hell. So you have to be able to decipher what they are saying, and this comes with listening to them.
Take the second report. Emmanuel, are you here?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, so let's quickly take the second report. Let's hope we can handle this. Is in the Daily Trust, and the IG, Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has admitted that criminals are no longer ragtags because their weapons are sophisticated, well-funded, and they are internationally connected to the extent of using advanced technology. Egbetokun was talking to commanders of all border patrols yesterday, and he said they even use drones. So basically, Emmanuel, I just wanted to talk about this. He said criminals are ahead of us. At least he's acknowledged, and he's bringing this to the notice, to the attention of everybody. What would you say to this? What do we need to do? Is it right in saying this publicly? What would you like to say?
Well, I just looked at the comment of the Inspector General of Police, and when I saw that, I laughed. I said security agencies ought to be ahead of criminals, but we are saying that criminals are ahead of security agency. That means what you should be clamoring for is telling the NSA and the president that at this point you need to declare a state of emergency. The reality is that it doesn't show they are on top of the situation, because all indices points to the fact that these guys operate freely without any challenge from anybody for hours. And how do they have that access to operate freely? Because one of the benchmark of security agencies is intelligence gathering. How do we get this intelligence gathering wrong? Let me tell you, on Tuesday in Saragi, that is at the local government area of Kwara State, there was an attack which a young man was killed, and it lasted for hours, and there was no response. This is how they operate now. Move freely, no response. So when you look at it, what kind of technology are they using that we've not invested in? Are we still? This is why you need people who are open to the emerging situation, emerging trends in the world. Because see, I understand the fact that Nigerian police, they are also equipped in the area of technology. I understand the fact that a lot has been spent on them when it comes to technology. So what exactly are we talking about when we speak to this thing? So I think at this point, what we stand to lose is we start to lose our security architecture if care is not taken. And as they say, when you are sick and you admit you are sick, you are looking for a solution to your problem. Thank goodness the IG has admitted that they are ahead of them when it comes to technology. So what is the next step for them to be to take their lead back in that aspect? So I should be expecting solutions from the IG. We know our border is very porous. We know people stroll into the country and out. We know some villages and other village at the other side of the border shares deep relationship. They marry themselves and they become a family. So what do we need to do to be ahead? I will just mention the fact that we can't fight 21st century crime with 20th century instruments and method. There has to be deep investment in technology. See, the era of water cannons and all is going. It's deep intelligence gathering we need. And apart from that deep intelligence gathering, if we get all this technology and there's no training for those who are to use the technology, what do we have? Now, they also have to work with immigration service to ensure that we strengthen our border control. There has to be intelligence and collaboration because, see, one thing that we find out most times is the fact that our different security agencies don't share intelligence. They are always at loggerheads fighting each other for supremacy. Now, rehabilitating for 3 months. Who tells you that the ideology on his head is going to change? He's not a baby. So what you see is now that you try to rehabilitate them. After you are done, they go back to the same crime. Go to Nigeria correctional centers. Ask them that most of their customers that come back, who are they? They are people who have committed a crime, served a jail term of about 5 years. Then after 6 months, they are back. That's why jokingly, people will say that when they release some people, they are coming back. And even when you watch movies, you see them telling, I know you'll be back very soon. Because they know that you can't rehabilitate someone who has dwelt in crime for years unless there is a paradigm shift in the way he thinks. So these are part of the problem. And when they started doing all these things using 18th century method of rehabilitation in 21st century, I was just laughing. I was calling it out then that this would not work. And now what happens is they get back into society, have an idea of what is happening. And don't also forget that we have element of foreign fundings. The chief of defense staff, Christopher Musa, while speaking one time with a foreign media, said that there's foreign funding, and foreign funding brings foreign equipment. Sometimes when you look at equipment seized from these people, when they are neutralized, you wonder, how did they get this equipment? Do you know what it takes to have an anti-aircraft gun that brings down a jet as fast as Alpha Jet? And how many of our Alpha Jet has been brought down? I can mention the one of Bolariwa and Chapel that was brought down in Borno. What about the one of Dairo that was brought down flying from Kaduna over Zamfara? So you see all these things and then you wonder, how did they get this equipment? How do they have all these things? And out of those 3 pilots I mentioned, 2 of them lost their life. They were declared a kid in action. So when you look at all these things, you see that they've gone ahead of us, really. But I'm happy that the Inspector General of Police is admitting the fact that they've gone ahead of us. Now, mine is, it's not about the confession of the IG. It's about the clarion call. What are they going to do next? Not just confessing that they've gone ahead of us. It's a shame, but we'll keep talking about this, and we hope that Nigerian police will get ahead of the criminal by investment in technology and also training of their own personnel, which is very important.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Go ahead, Tom.
No, I just want to say thank you, Emmanuel, for everything. We have less than 1 minute, and I just think we need to be wrapping up. Over to you, Fumi.
Yes, we thank you so much, Emmanuel, for coming on the show. It's always a pleasure to have you. Many thanks to our newspaper family who keep sending in text and calling. Special thanks to Hillary and Timmy. We were able to get phone calls and hear them clearly today. That was a joy to see and hear. No, not to see, to hear. To hear this morning. So many thanks to you both in the studio. With that being said, unfortunately, we cannot read the remaining messages or receive other phone calls because we've run out of time. Today is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. As you go about your day, enjoy your weekend, do the right thing, and Monday is coming up on us very, very soon. This is the end of the Full Breakfast Show. My name is Fumi Bangwala.
My name is Tomo Kewale. Have a wonderful, peaceful weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Women Radio 91.7, breaking the culture of silence.
So you don't change your man a new chapter. V12 now we move faster. Oh, dele ko wadada.
I've been dreaming of the time we are go shine, so me I carry on. Koni sumi koni remi.
I say love and give up.
If them they like me, then they hate me.
All I want in Amula.
And I'm taking my back and forth. Go straight to Babylon.
Oh, but you're talking about today. Now I'm chilling with my better days. Anything want my baby buy. I shall leave it about it.
247 on the road. I know God there for me, I'm not alone. Yeah. And I'm living my best life.
Fuka oh Fuka, living like la vida. No room for Fuka, but my baby you demand. Fuka oh Fuka, living like la vida.
B12 now we move faster. Owo dele kowo wa dada. Me casa is so casa. 99 problem, but you see money no fit there among go. And I'm covered by God. Oh, Angeli shadow show me. Oh, currency na ma frankalimba. Santorini pelu mama sita. Jaye mi busy Kim Kardashian. Totori mi make you give me ginger. Buga oh buga. Them no need no luga. Tangana de for ya. Them sabi my matter.
Oh, Bantia talking holiday. Now I'm chilling with my better days. Anything want my baby buy. Let's shot it if it's about it. 247 on the road. Got it for me, I'm not alone. Yeah. And I'm living my best life. Buga, oh, Buga. Live me like la vida. No room for Buga. Come on, baby, build a man. Buga, oh, Buga. Live me like la vida. No room for Buga. Make nobody stress my life. Buga, oh, Buga. Live me like la vida. No room for Buga. Come on, baby, build a man. Buga, oh, Buga. Live me like la vida. No room for Buga. Make nobody stress my life.
Women Radio 91.7. Your station, your story.
Have you been a victim of corruption? Do you want to report how corruption affects you and your community? Send it
today at 7 p.m. Plenty Nigerians will stand a chance to win big. To join, just dial *900# on your MTN line. Then every recharge from 100 naira or more will get you more entries and increase your chances to win. This promo lasts till the 21st of September.
Recharge today and win millions. T's and C's apply. Visit www.mtn.ng for more details.
My people, something big don't land, and na money rain dey fall. Better play, better chance. 200k fit enter your hand if you try your luck. Oh, better play, better chance.
Now 3 times every day, them they call winners for radio. Yes, now with just 500 naira, you fit win up to 200,000 naira every single day. Just join the Better Play lottery now and listen for your name for radio. 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 6 p.m.
Better play, no dull yourself. Go get your ticket. Sharp. Buy am for www.betterplay.ng or just dial *347*154#. You want boost your chance? Buy reach 20 tickets if you want win.
Follow us for Facebook at Better Play and Instagram at Better Play NG to get correct updates. Now your turn to chop this money, oh.
Better Play, better.